Being a cinematographer today, the tools at your disposal to color grade your imagery is 100 times better than it was even 10, 20 years ago. What you can do now from the comfort of your own home is a game changer.
Hey, I'm Brent from ShareGrid. I'm here with ShareGrid member Jeff Dolen, who's a cinematographer, but he also loves to color correct his own projects. He uses the Blackmagic DaVinci Resolve mini panel. Why do you like to color your own stuff?
Being able to take a project and do the color correction myself, I'm able to, one, protect the look of what we were going for, me and the director. So I can spend as much time as I want and stay up 24 hours a day and color correct things and play with things a lot more than you can going to a colorist. Two would be when you're shooting something on set, you know that you don't need to spend time gripping something down on the back wall, or you can tell a director, I can make that pop more, or I can bring this down. And like, I've just acquired an Arri Alexa Mini. I've been shooting everything in 4K, and directors are now framing things slightly wider because they know in post they can push in.
Right.
In the same way, I'm not quite being such a perfectionist on set because in post I know that I can do quite a bit to it.
I would also think, as a cinematographer, the fact that you can color, not that that's what you want your day job to be, but you're more versatile now. You can kind of market yourself and sell yourself to be this jack of all trades, a DP that can light, shoot, and then also bring it into post and treat the footage. Is that something that you kind of are starting to see yourself as?
I mean, it would make a cinematographer more marketable to have the knowledge of what you can do while you're on set and what you can get away with in post.
Right.
Like everything I've been shooting, I've been color grading the project. So now on set, I know how far I can push the Alexa sensor, and I know how far I can underexpose or overexpose things. And it's just fun I mean, half the job is done on set with lighting and where you put the camera, but the other half, there's so much you can do in post-production. To just skip it and have some other editor do it, or a colorist that you maybe don't even get to sit down with. Color correct all your footage is like a loss of half of your creative input.
So this brings us to talking about the panel. What are some of the awesome aspects of it? What are some things people need to know about this panel?
Everything built into the menus of the program are now touch buttons. And you can bring up menus and subset menus in the windows and have a much more efficient workflow. I just color corrected a music video here that I had about a day and a half to do it. And so the efficiency of not having to go into menus and submenus and open new nodes and put in windows, everything's just touch button, so it's faster. If you could save 5 seconds here, 15 seconds there over 6 to 8 hours,
It adds up.
A lot more time you can put on a couple more shots, you know. And two is just being able to touch things rather than a mouse click. Once you kind of know where all the buttons and wheels are on the board, I can just leave my hands there and stare at the color correction monitor and not have to be going back and forth between a mouse cursor and the screen and back to the monitor, and I'm just kind of moving things as I'm staring at the monitor. So it's a lot less eye strain and moving back and forth. And with the mini board over the micro, you have 2 LCD screens on it, and you can actually get numerical values for your RGB. Instead of rolling the ball around, you can just bring up red, green, and blue separately until you hit a certain number if you want. You could do 2 or 3 things at the same time. You could be bringing up your shadows, the blues in your shadows at the same time as you're darkening the shadows with the wheel. Another great feature about the board is you can play backwards, stop, you can skip between shots, between frames, and between nodes, all with the touch of a button. And it's all in one spot, and if you kind of memorize where they are, you never really have to look at it.
Yeah, I find both editing and then also with color correction, I spend a lot of time just scrubbing through footage and then going back and then moving it around and going to another clip. And so to have like a panel that you can kind of memorize just by touch that does all of that, like that's huge. That saves a lot of time.
Yeah.
Times are different. I think cinematographers nowadays have a lot more on their plate. With digital cinematography, you have a lot more responsibility in many ways to be in charge of the DI, which is the color correction process. But also not just that, you're responsible for media management, you're responsible for lighting in a different way, and it's ever evolving, technology is constantly changing. So I think this conversation is super important for the cinematography community.
Before, you wrap, you go home. Now I wrap and I sit there for 2 hours downloading cards. And there's a whole nother post world now that you have to do and walk people through. You've got to educate yourself not just how to light, shoot good in cameras, and you've also got to know media, you've got to know color profiles and lookup tables and how to calibrate monitors, and how to edit helps a lot in color correcting.
Isn't digital cinematography fun?
It is.
It is. No, it is fun.
I do miss shooting on film though. Yeah, I'm spending more time color correcting than I am shooting.
Is it getting addicting to color?
It kind of is, yeah. Except when I need to walk my dog.
Gotta walk the dog, that's important.